Hello, and welcome to the webinar covering the Agile Ticketing Update for version 6.25. We are very excited to introduce you to the significant benefits to the Agile Ticketing System. The first enhancement we are going to cover today is catalog and SKU level file imports. We have added the ability to import new product and SKU records from a file. Products and SKUs along with inventory can also be updated from the file. Also, we have added a new way to view and update inventory on a lot of items at one time. Let's take a look. First, I'm going to pull up our online merchandise folder and go to the catalog option. Here, I can see my list of current products. I can right-click in the product area and choose Import Products. And here I can choose to add products and type out all the information within the screen. I can click Load File in order to load a prepared Excel file. Or I can get a copy of the file format by clicking Import Example. I have already prepared my import file, so I'll load from that. Then I can see all the data that I'm going to be importing. I will click Apply to import these new products. It will save a results file that I can refer to later. And if I had some products that I needed to update in bulk, I could put together a file and run it through this process to update those particular items. Next, I'm going to import some SKU records for the underlying details about the items being sold and their inventory. I will right-click in the product area and choose Import Product SKUs. I will load from my prepared file. I will then click Apply to add these new records. If I needed to update some inventory from some SKUs, I could prepare the file with either the actual inventory quantity, the inventory available, or I could provide an adjustment of the inventory quantity to either add to or remove from the currently available inventory for that item. Also, we've made it easy to view and edit product and SKU records in bulk. By clicking and selecting a list of those items, we can go to Update Products, and it'll pull up the list with all of its values. We can edit those fields that are necessary across all of them. And this can be especially helpful in order to update the product SKUs, where we can then update available inventory, make adjustments to inventory in bulk. The next enhancement we are going to cover today is new criteria for matching items for performing custom actions online. We have added the ability to evaluate the venue name secondary text, and date secondary text on events when performing custom actions. This will allow you to put a custom value such as vaccination required in the date secondary text of certain events so that the customer will be presented with a custom message or attestation before purchase. Let's take a look. First, I'm going to go to our web folder and view our entry point groups. I will go to my testing group and view the properties. Here, I see that I have 2 actions already defined. I will take a look at the COVID attestation that uses some of our new criteria. We can see that when defining criteria, we now have the option for venue name, short descriptive 1, and short descriptive 2. Here I can see that short descriptive 2, also known as the date secondary text on an event, is used to see if vaccination required is contained in that. And if that text is defined in that field on an event, the customer will see the attestation text and must accept the terms before purchase. Next, I'm going to go to some events and make sure they are marked as vaccination required. We'll pull up the first showing of Bottle Rocket. Here I can see that in the date secondary text, that short descriptive 2, we've got vaccination required screening defined there, so it should match the defined criteria for our action. If I go ahead and pull up the event itself for purchase, here I can see that that date secondary text is shown to call out that this is a different screening requirement than the others. And whenever I go to actually buy tickets for that, I'll see the defined attestation, and it must be accepted before they're able to proceed. The next enhancement we are going to cover today is with customizations to the web account creation process. We have added extra optional controls to help simplify the online account creation process. Let's take a look. First, I will open up the settings folder and go to the system control option. I will scroll down to our additional settings area where we have several web-based interface settings. I see the new web show verify email address. This controls whether the customer has to input their email address 2 times correctly. I also see the show verify password that controls whether the customer has to input their password 2 times. The show billing address option defines whether a customer has to input their billing address on the account creation screen or when they're making a payment on their first order. The last new option is the ask questions for account. That controls whether customer-based questions get asked at all on the account creation screen or if they're just available in the customer's profile area. Let's start by looking at the interface when all of those options are on. Here I can see that I have to enter the email address twice, the password twice, enter my billing address, and would have to answer any questions if any were set up at the customer level. Now I'll go to turn off all these options. And then we'll jump back over and take a look at what it looks like now. Now, when I come back to the account creation process, I see that we have much fewer required fields. I also see the addition of an icon to see the password if I want to make sure I type it in correctly. I can fill out this information. And submit to create my online account. Now I'll go ahead and make a purchase. I proceed on through to the payment process. And since I didn't fill in my address during the initial account creation, I need to provide it now. If this order had items being delivered via mail, the customer would also be presented with an option to specify a different billing address as needed. And so we can go ahead and fill that out and finish out the order. The next enhancement we are going to cover today is some new options with customer and order-based questions. We have added a new multi-check type of question that allows the customers to select all options that apply to them or specify another value that may be relevant. We have also made it easier to provide the available values when defining the question. Let's take a look. First, I will open up my settings folder and go to the questions option. I'm going to define a new customer question. And this question is going to be one that the customer can select all answers that may apply. I'm going to ask what the customer's hobbies are. And I'm going to make that a multi-check type of question so they're able to check all that apply. I can type out the available options and reorder them now very easily or remove them more easily than before. I'll go ahead and add a few options for hobbies in here. I'll go ahead and finish filling this out and make it a required question. And we'll go ahead and save that. Now let's take a look at this via a customer's online account. So to see how this question reacts and how it's used, let's jump in and edit this customer's information. And here I can see the new hobbies question that was asked. And I can choose from the list all that apply. I also have the option of checking the other and defining another value here. For reporting, these multi-check answers show up with all values under the single column, with each value being on its own line. So you'll be able to see all those values that were relevant to the customer. The next enhancement we are going to cover today is some changes to our ticket forwarding process. We have simplified the interface and provided new options for the customer to resend the tickets or cancel the tickets that they forwarded to someone else. Let's take a look. I will pull up my online account and go to the Forward Tickets option. Here I see the events that I have purchased and the tickets that are available for me to forward. I can see now in my list that I have already forwarded some of these tickets to other people. From here, I can select the tickets that I want to forward and click from the available option down below in order to forward the two selected tickets. I can choose who I want to forward those to, either by selecting people that I forwarded to before, or I can type in new information by adding that information here. I also have the option of sending the remaining tickets. In this case, there'd be 2 remaining tickets still on my order available to me. So I can choose whether I need to receive those tickets again or not. And then I can click continue in order to send those tickets. And this took less steps to forward the tickets than it has before. Also, I can choose to resend tickets to a person again. I choose a ticket that's already been forwarded. I can choose the resend one selected ticket. And here, if for some reason we got the email address wrong, we can go ahead and retype that out, change it and send it to a different email for that person. I have that option to send the remaining tickets back to myself again, but I click continue in order to go ahead and issue that ticket to that person one more time. I can also cancel forwarded tickets. We can choose the tickets that have been forwarded, choose the cancel the 2 tickets, and just click continue. This will then allow me to then forward those tickets to a different person at that point. The next enhancement on our list is the addition of the ticket verbiage lines to Apple Wallet and Google Pay electronic tickets. As shown in the images below, the 5 ticket verbiage lines can be used to provide additional information on these electronic tickets. The next enhancement on our list is the ability to copy a row on a seating image map layout. This new option allows image maps to be laid out much quicker when there are rows that look very similar to each other. Let's take a look. I'm going to go to our settings folder and pull up a physical layout template. I'm going to go down to the section properties and pull up the image map definition. In this editor, I can lay out the selection areas for the seats in this venue. With this new copy option, we can now select a row of seats, such as row B. And we can choose to copy all those from row B into a new row C and place those below the current selection. I can then also use my arrow keys in order to get them right into the spot where I need them. I can continue to copy for all similar rows just as easily. This will speed up the process of laying out the seating maps greatly. Also, we've added the option to delete the selected seats if necessary as well. The last enhancement on our list is support for the Partnertech 10.1-inch customer display. With this new feature, we have expanded from our 2-line customer display to allow more information to be shown to the customer during an order. Here is an example of the 2-line customer display, and here is an example of the new 10.1-inch display on an Audrey A5 terminal. Now let's take a look at this new display in action. With the customer display attached and configured on my terminal, the secondary screen will now show useful information for the customer. Let's start by looking at some of the configuration settings for the display. I will go to the settings menu and choose guest display. Here I can see basic settings for the header background color, body background color, and font info for the display of order information. Next, I can display what shows in the top of the customer display, such as this logo. There are also several options for displaying information depending on the status of the terminal. We can show a full screen message with text and graphics for when the register is closed. And when the register is open. And a smaller area to show to the customer when an order is in process. Right now, I am cashed out, so my register shows as closed. I can cash in to be ready to take orders. I can add tickets. After I cash in, we'll go ahead and add some tickets. I'll add some concessions. And a donation. We see that the customer is presented with several areas of information. The order totals information is shown in the top left area. The right-hand side shows details about what has been added to the order. And the bottom left shows the during sales message, where we're asking if they'd like to make a donation. When the order is finished, it goes back to the register open state until the next sale is started. Initial support for this display is for sale and order status information. We plan on continuing to develop new options to utilize this customer display for reserved seating selection, allowing customers to make a donation through selections on that customer-facing screen, and allowing customers to send a receipt to their email. This new customer display option is available to order today. It can be purchased with new terminals or can be retrofitted onto existing 5514 models or as a separate display. To find out more about ordering this new display, visit agiletix.com/hardware to view our full hardware catalog.